Here we are with another Friday Night Live Zoom. Hopefully, the sound is working. Let me see here. Today is September 30th, last day of the September 2022. It's beautiful. We had a beautiful, wonderful, sunny, warm day. You know, it's always a pleasure as we move into autumn. Oh, we're into autumn. Always nice to get that warmth from the sun. How's everybody doing? Wait a few minutes. See who's on here. If anybody's out there, give me a thumbs up. You can hear me. If not, I guess I'll dive within. Sage is beautiful. (9:01 p.m.) September 30th, 2022. Friday Night Live. Got some severe hurricanes happening in the Florida vicinity. I hope everybody makes it through safely. We send PLAF to all these natural, so-called natural catastrophes around the world that are happening. There's always something going on globally. Are they natural? Are they man-made? How do we verify any of this stuff? But the one thing is that they have been controlling the weather for a long time, but they wouldn't have the Weather Control Act. They do in Canada anyway, and I'm sure there's similar legislation in different countries. Weather Control Act, who would have ever thought it? I didn't believe until I seen it myself. So, there's strange things been happening in the alternative health scene in the last several years. We see a lot of people that went into veganism or raw foods and everything, and they turn back to animal products. It's interesting phenomenon. We as mankind are looking for instant gratification results, and if we don't see things happening quickly, or if we see things that we don't understand and we misinterpret, then we don't think anything's happening, it's not working or whatever. But we have to look at things in a different eye. We can't look at things through the same eyes that we've been programmed with, because these eyes have been convoluted in many ways, shapes, and forms. So what's actually the truth is not what we're interpreting, or able to interpret, because of mass hypnosis programming, whatever you want to call it. Well, how do we know this? Well, through many experiences and through um, many thousands of people, we've seen, what happens when the soul goes in autopilot. I haven't seen that happen eating any kind of diet myself. Haven't seen it happen. There's been um, not that there's no miracles while people are eating. There's absolutely they do happen, but it's not because of diet. Usually, it would be because of uh, very strong faith and prayer, and we see people transform through that without changing anything in their diets, and they transform and they heal. So, as we've been saying for over 8 years, emotion is seed, and if we truly understood that the intent and emotion is seed, we'd have much different understanding of how things, how we believe things operate, because we really don't know anything. We just our make-believe world, fiction, fiction in this plane. Everything's fiction, fake food, fake water, fake air, fake people, fake music. Um, so yeah, very interesting. Can't see who's on and the way this thing works, but unless somebody asks a question, can't see anything on here. I don't know if it's this browser or what. Anyway, hope everybody's doing great. Amazing. Keep sending prayers over to the Russian Ukraine situation, and Plaf and all the natural, so-called natural disasters that are happening around the world. Very trying times. Very, very difficult times for many people. We've been through quite a huge ordeal as mankind in the last 3 years, and you know everything that's happened. The information is coming out more and more that it was all nothing based on any science. So, as mankind, we need to move into the next phases of accountability. I would hope that's where we can move and quickly start seeing things, account people that are accountable, see things change in that sense. But if there's any questions, suggestions, you want to share, we're all ears. That's what we're here for. Some inspiring stories, inspiring stories. All right. Lewis, hello. Hello, friend. How are you? from Florida. Whoa. Hope everything's okay on your end. Some crazy weather patterns. I wonder what would happen if everyone on the planet would put all their emotion and intent to dissipate these storms. What would happen? I wonder. I wonder what would happen. Well, we know what happens when, because there's tests done. A bunch of people meditate on a city with high crime rate. Crime rate decreases substantially, right? So we know what happens. We just need to get the intent and emotion out there, and the more people join, the more power. Lewis, I want to let you know that a few months ago you gave me some advice that I didn't have to fully go fast and could partially fast, but only eating things that were easier for my body to process. As my job is really demanding and the fasting was not feasible yet, I have done what you suggest can happen. Eating out of my garden and growing a lot of my own food. Oh, awesome. And I lost 50 pounds and I feel great and been doing very good. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Lewis. Yeah, we don't have to stop eating. Just you're fasting. If you're fasting consistently, a few days a week, or a certain amount of time each month, whatever way you can allow yourself to continue and process that and make it happen over and over and over again, things are going to change. Things are going to change. But wow, this is awesome. I wish everybody can have access to their own food, growing their own food. There's just no comparison when you grow your own food. It's in a whole different realm than when you buy things. If you buy from somebody who puts all their wonderful heart into it and does it properly, it's amazing. But when you're growing your own, it's just beautiful. Just we have a little garden and just going out and picking things and eating. There's nothing like it. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Hello, Barbara. Yeah, when you have a demanding job, it can be tough fasting, but depending on the age you're at and so on and so forth. When I started fasting, I was working. Well, I was at the beginning, I ended up bedridden and so on, but after I went back to work, I was always fasting, and I worked with always with steel and with automobiles and heavy steel, and so I was always working and fasting. I was always doing my regular season change fasts, and yeah, it was you get some tough days because you feel weaker. You get into your healing reactions and so on and so on, go forth. But the more you fast, the more you get used to this, and the more you can read yourself as to what you can and cannot do. Because when you just start fasting, the dangers are, especially if you're working with dangerous stuff, like we were working with steel and machinery and so on and so forth, right? Machine shop, welding, building automated machinery. That was the last thing I did, working with my hands. And before that was working in an auto body shop, and before that was in a machine shop. My dad also had a machine shop. So, that's basically what I used to do. So if you start fasting, some people are prone to getting dizziness and even fainting. So you don't want to be doing that, operating heavy equipment or driving or anything. You need to be in tune and know what may or may not be happening with you. And when you're following the Master Fast protocol, we have all the tools to support and minimize these situations. The only time people get into trouble is when when they don't follow the protocol. They push themselves too much dry, and they don't wash themselves enough. They don't drink enough, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, we got to be careful. We got to be really careful, especially when we're in places that can be lethal with heavy equipment and driving and so on and so forth. Lewis, I still do intermittent fasting. I just have my lunchbox. When I feel I need it, I eat, but not by the clock. Absolutely, by what the body tells me. Excellent, excellent. And then there's days where you don't just feel like eating. So, what happens if I skip today? Nothing. What happens if I skip another day? Nothing. So yeah, this is how we do it. But the intermittent fasting is the cycles that we are doing, right? The dry fasting cycles and so on and so forth. So that's awesome. Awesome. 50 pounds is a lot of weight. You mind saying what weight you were and what weight you are now and your height? So we have an idea of your physique. Um, there's a big majority of the population that's overweight, and also a big portion is actually obese, right? Especially in North America, but it's growing around the world, around the globe. More and more people going eating more and more, but U.S. is probably one of the tops, and Canada's not far behind with obesity. Just going in Europe, you're going to see a lot less obese people. You're going to see overweight, but obese, you're going to see a lot less than North America. Just the size of the meals in fast food chains in North America are bigger than they are in other parts of the world. Why is that? I guess we eat more. And why do we eat more? We're still, same type of humankind. I was 283 and now 250. Wow. Excellent. Five, 10. Yeah, keep going. You're going to feel a lot better when you get down to your average weight for that for that height. We're not going to say it's the ideal weight because we don't know what the ideal weight is. We don't know. We just assume and take averages from everybody across the board. So I'm sure the normal weight would probably be on the lower side of the ranges than what it's supposed, what they say it's supposed to be. I cut out the processed carbs that I was eating on a daily basis, because that was the main thing that you say clogs the system. I forgot the exact words you use, obstructions. But I remember when you gave me that advice. I'm trying to recall when that was. So many people. Anyway, it's awesome. Yeah, any processed foods, anything made by a corporation, it's not real food. Let's face it, if you buy something in a box in a package, it's been prepared by a corporation. It's not real food. My goodness gracious, the packaging fruit these days. It's just like, wow, it's putting everything in styrofoam and plastic, and it's just they're peeling oranges and stuff for people and wrapping it. Oh, geez, like how lazy have we become? Can't even peel our own fruit. Wow, incredible. Lewis, I was the guy that works with mold and was about that. Oh, okay, mold. Yeah, nasty stuff. You got to be careful about around mold. If there's houses that are, leaking water, uh, yeah, it's no good. It's just mold. It does what it has to do, and it's not a good idea to be breathing it in. Just like bacteria, good and bad bacteria. Bacteria, and there's certain bacteria that do different things, and some will help us, and some will, not help us. Exactly. I just, good or bad in nature. Is there good and bad in nature? Is a lion eating another animal good or bad? It just is the way it is. Um, it's the design of the reflection of man's emotion, as I like to say. The natures reflects back to us our intent and emotion as a human race, and that's what we're seeing. So if humankind changes and stops eating, pillaging, and killing each other, I'm going to say that the animals will stop doing that as well. It's just the way it is. But nature, example of a crazy storm that wipes out, so many people. Um, you know, it's just doing what it has to do. The people are in the way there. It's just gonna have to do it anyway. It can't say, oh, there's too many people in that area. I can't have my tornado or hurricane now or whatever. It's just gonna do it. So there's certain order things have to happen, take place for the survival of the earth, right? The earth is going to do what it has to do to survive and keep its balance. And it's just the way it is. Yeah. Some nasty mold situations, and I've seen with people's houses, man. You gotta be careful. You gotta first of all fix the problem of the leakage, water getting in, and then you got to clean out all the mold. And what we found is the pool shock works really well. They use it for shocking swimming pools to kill everything. You can find it at swimming pool supplies. It's powder. Mix with water and you spray it all over the mold. And also, blast the whole house with ozone, so you kill all the spores. Really, really heavy duty blast of ozone. It shouldn't be in the house because most people won't be able to breathe in the ozone. They'd be coughing their brains out. But there's people that do that as services, blasting homes with ozone. It works well for like after there's been restoration from fire to get rid of the smell of smoke. You get rid of all the burnt stuff, and then after they blast the house with ozone to get rid of that smell. Because I had a friend who used to do this, and works beautifully. Lewis, yeah, that works really well. Anything with bleach, but more importantly, it's not letting the water sit for too long so that the mold doesn't stress the weekend. Yeah. Sorry, that wasn't a typo. I meant so that the mold doesn't spread. Yeah, so doesn't spread. Yeah, it's standing water, leakages into the house where it starts going into the water and then it stays there and it pools in the area. You're gonna get mold. You're gonna get mold. So you got to fix the problem. You got to go to the root and seed cause of the problem, fix that, get rid of the molds. Um, why does mold come to be? There's a purpose for it. There's definitely a purpose. And does it worry about there's humans in that house? No, it's going to do what it has to do because it's programmed to do just that. We're in the way. We're just in the way. So, with all the little knowledge we have, we can, build things today where, um, they're waterproof, and the walls um, have enough air circulation and so on and so forth. So you don't have these problems. But the cleaner your body is, the better it handles the molds and the neurotoxin that it releases. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, you will, the cleaner we are, the more we will feel them too. But your body will be able to dump them out much easier. Whereas somebody who's in a very obstructive state, they won't even feel it, but it's doing damage. And then it accumulates and accumulates, and then all of a sudden, oh, you got major problems. But it's not all of a sudden. It's because they just the senses are not working. They can't feel anything, so it has to come to the point and when it's basically almost too late for them to feel anything. So it's much more advantageous to have a body with senses that work, so that you can steer clear of the dangers when you feel them. Okay, I got to get out of here. Something going on, and you know, really. So being sensitive could be a good thing. Being sensitive is an excellent thing. That's why we have senses. It's all misinterpreted from my understanding. If you're numbed out, you don't feel anything, and yeah, the stuff is still going to be doing damage, as I was, just saying earlier. You just don't feel it, so your senses are there to warn you. Oh, yeah, I'm very sensitive. What's going on? Micro uh, microwave fields and this, that, and the other thing. People are much more sensitive. It's doing damage, and you feel it. Whereas somebody doesn't feel it, it's doing damage. They just don't feel it, and then the damage accumulates, and then it's too late in some situations. So yeah, I say our senses need to be uh, designed, and working the way they're designed to work. Right, they need to be sensitive, and the more you go down the road of fasting lifestyle and clean minimal eating, you're going to feel everything. If you do a long fast, oh boy, are you ever going to feel everything? This is people who love to eat, and then they do a long fast, and they think they're going to go back to their old obstructive lifestyle. They're going to get a big wake-up call. They're not going to be happy, because their senses are going to tell them the senses are going to give them major information saying, what are you doing? You're trying to kill me? It's going to be that strong. The impact, excuse me, of the effects of the food that they're eating, the heavy obstructive foods. And these foods will have major impact. Like within a few hours, sometimes right away. At the next morning, for sure, you're going to feel, whoa, got hit by a truck. If you eat really obstructive foods after being on a long fast. So, excuse me, that's why we say, if we have as a lifestyle, we're doing it basically on a week-to-week basis, or bi-weekly basis, or monthly basis, the minimum fasting, a few days a week, or every couple of weeks, or maybe like about a week or so every month. If we're doing that regularly, then we're going to get accustomed and know what's going to happen every time we break the fast, and we're going to get accustomed to that feeling, and our senses will start waking up more and more, and then every time we eat, we're going to go, whoa, maybe I shouldn't have ate that. So we're going to question ourselves as to what we can eat. And the easiest thing that's going to have the least effect is fruit out of everything. Wow, I learned something valuable. Hope to catch you on the next one, my friend. Have a great night. All right, awesome. Have a great night yourself, Lewis. Thanks for sharing that. Great to hear. Stay focused and keep digging. Going to a longer fast on the weekend now. Awesome. I like to do my fast in the busy times instead of the weekends, because the weekends people like to socialize, and then you don't have to worry about um, you know, telling people you're fasting, this and that. So anyway, everybody does it the best way that works for them. So you may not work a week, you may be working on the weekend. I don't know. Anyway, have a great weekend. Hope to see you soon. There we go. You know, follow the basic principles. You start where you're at. You don't need to be um, doing the eventing and then getting hit by a truck. We start slowly and we move and expand, and little by little we'll be fasting regularly, and it's going to be um, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, much more of an impact as time goes on. When we go off track, much more of an impact. It's going to be not pleasant. Eating obstructive foods after long fast is not pleasant. And if you're doing like level 4 or 5, and you know, 4 or 5, and you eat obstructive foods, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it. Yeah, it's because we're going back and forth from fields to matter, fields to matter, fields to matter, fields to matter, and um, the body likes to live off fields. It prefers the fields because the physicality of eating and processing is very taxing. Unless we can maintain pretty much basically only fruit, some leafy greens, but you'll see them. The more we go down this path of deep, true, true detoxification, the more our senses will be awake, and we can see that uh, when you eat fruit versus green leaves, there's going to be quite a bit of a difference in um, processing and digesting that food. Fruit is just no comparison. There's like, that's the other way of looking at it. If you're doing, um, fast, and then you go into, if you're master fast, and then you go into the green juices. Holy geez, the green juices, you're gonna feel a big difference in how much energy, more energy you need to process green juices than the fruit juices we're using. It's just the way it is. Even the green juices are going to it takes much more work than than even eating fruit. It's your body's going to probably use more energy to process green juice than eating fruit. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be eating any greens, since we never said anything about that. You have to choose a level of obstructiveness that you're going to be happy with, that you're going to be content with. Because if you're not, you're not going to stick with it. You're not going to do it. So you have to find a place where you can live and love and enjoy. Don't look for trying to beat somebody else. Yeah, you can be inspired by what other people are doing, but you don't have to beat other people. I only competed against myself. I just want to see where I can go, how far I can go with with fasting and dry fasting and so on and so forth. I wasn't competing with anybody, because once we started sharing this information, there's really nothing out there. In the last 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago, there's nothing on the internet about dry fasting. You can, anyway, where are we at? 9:30. If anybody else has any questions, or we can do a short meditation. I don't know if Paula's here. She loved the meditations that we were doing. We haven't done them for a while now. It's probably a couple of years. I don't know. Time goes by so quick. But there's no interest in them, and that's why we stopped doing them. Was as a group meditation, much more powerful. Much more powerful to do group meditation.
I'd like to do a group meditation. That would be great.
All right. Let's go for it. Let's get comfortable. Close your eyes, get in a comfortable seating position or lying down, wherever you are. And it's just start focusing on the breath. It's always a good place to focus on. And you can use whatever mudra you like with your hands. Rest them on your lap. And just pay attention to the inhale and the exhale. In meditation, I like putting the focus of breathing only nasal, through the nose, in and out. As we start to relax, we can bring some intent and emotion of where we want to bring the breath. So we start to focus at the bottom of the tailbone, the bottom of the spine, tailbone, and on the inhale, we drive the breath all the way up the spine to the top of the head. And then on the exhale, we bring the breath down to the front of the body, all the way down, around the groin, back to the tailbone. So inhale up the back, exhale down the front. 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 And now let's bring the focus of the breath to the area below the belly button. And just keep the focus while we breathe in and out into that area. And if you want, you can create a mini tornado vortex, spinning counterclockwise in that area. So the tip of the tornado vortex will be on the focus of the part of the body that we're focusing on. So now it'll be at the part below the belly. So we inhale and exhale with that vortex happening. And if we have any other thoughts coming into our minds, just observe them. They're not ours. They will just float by, just like a little stream, river with water flowing. Just pretend it's just these thoughts that are just flowing down the river, and you're just observing them, no attachment to them, just moving along. Keep the focus in that area, below the belly, with the vortex if you like. If you don't want to have a vortex, you don't have to. You can just focus on the area and the breath. Now let's move down to the genital areas. For the women, it's the ovaries. For men, testes. And just focus the breath in that area. The more we focus, the more relaxed. Now let's move the focus to the perineum between the anus and the genitals. There's naturally a very strong vortex in that area. Chakras, all the chakras have vortexes spinning. What do they call those exercises? Kegel, I can't remember. When you're urinating, you hold it. That's the muscle, the area we're focusing on. Inhale, exhale. Just keep the focus in that area. And let's move the focus to the tailbone, the tip of the tailbone. Inhale, exhale. If you like, you have the vortex happening. Keep the focus. If the mind wanders, bring it back to that area. Any thoughts, just river flowing by, let them go. Not ours. Feel that energy. Pull out all the obstructions of that area. Bring balance back. And we can move up to a little bit up the spine to the kidney area, between the kidneys. Just the area in the back, just below the bottom of the rib cage. Two little miraculous organs, size of our ears. Very powerful energy point is in the kidney areas. Very sensitive to fear, stress. Adrenals are sitting on top of the kidneys. So let's keep the focus there. So all that stagnation, all those obstructions on the physical, mental, emotional get pulled into the vortex and brought back to balance. So that's what vortexes do, implosion. It sucks it into itself and neutralizes, brings balance back. And we move up a little more up the spine into the area between the shoulder blades, middle of the back. We hold a lot of tension in that area, especially if we're sitting on a desk all day. Why movement is also crucial. Stretching, yoga, walking, biking, light jogging, hiking. Did I say that? Swimming. Just, you got to keep moving. At all costs, just keep moving. When we're fasting, we got to keep moving. When we're dry fasting, we got to keep moving. Just keep the breath focused in that area. It's okay if the mind wanders, just bring it back. It's okay if there's thoughts coming in, just let it flow down the little river stream. They're not yours. Keep the focus in the middle of the back. You feel the stress being relieved as the obstructions get pulled out. Let's move a little higher up the spine to the base of the skull behind the neck. Keep the focus of the breath in that area of the vortex, if you like. Such a beautiful place to be in a meditative state. Peaceful, relaxed, timeless. Let's move on up to the top of the head and center of the top of the head. Put all our focus in that area. vortex. Feel all those obstructions get drawn out, up, out into the vortex. If the mind wanders, bring it back. Meditation is spending time with the divine and honoring Creator. Let's move the focus to the center of the forehead, third eye. Where we have our true vision. Just down to the throat area, thyroid, voice box. Let's make it known and speak from our heart instead of holding in those obstructions. Let them flow. What other people think is not our problem. Think of us, it's not our problem. We can speak our mind. We try to be as kind and gentle. I know I need work on that. Feels so good to be in this beautiful, relaxed state. The energy starts opening up and flowing stronger and stronger. Now let's move the focus down to the heart. That's the strongest field. with the physicality. And feel that vortex growing, getting bigger and bigger. Just expanding through that vortex, as big as you can imagine, and spinning, spinning and spinning and spinning, faster and faster. While we break free those stagnations in our heart that we've been keeping for years or decades. Just break them free, let them go. Let's move down to the solar plexus. Massive nerve junction. Pull out all that stagnation from the nervous system. All the stimulation happening, especially living in large cities. Our nervous system is being bombarded left, right, and center. Taking time out, fasting will help keep us sane and balanced. If the mind wanders, bring it back. Any thoughts come in, just let them flow by down the river. The vortex is spinning faster and faster. You have the vortex in your mind. And let's cycle the breath again from the base of the spine. Inhale, go up to the top of the head. Exhale, go down the front. And do that on your own a few times. In your own time, you can start moving your fingers, your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And such a great place to be, meditative state. And more people that we can do, prayer and meditation together. It's just so much more powerful. Feels so much more at peace after you meditate. It's just wonderful. Um, it's a good discipline to teach children meditation and prayer to do consistently on a daily basis, and continue that practice where we connect with our divine creator and allow the peace to flow in and out, remove the stagnations. Being bombarded with all these stimulants. It's just being on a computer and being bombarded. Need time away, get back into touching the earth with our hands and feet, and breathing some fresh air, as fresh as we got. So that's it. Oh yeah, it's already 10 o'clock. Wow. Time just flies when we're in these meditative states. When you start getting deeper and deeper, just a couple hours can pass by very easily. Some people put a little timer so they can get some work done. They can go for hours. Some people, or days. Some people go into meditative state can go for days. But if we practice a few minutes every day, like we did, it'd be awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll catch you on the board and next calls. And just keep digging, keep living it, keep loving it, keep spreading the plaf to everybody. Let's keep laughing, enjoy ourselves, and away we go. Ciao.